Hello, welcome to September 23rd, 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, a daily live video exercise that I do from currently from my veranda here in my home in central Japan on the east coast by Mount Fuji, Shizuoka City. I do this every day to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with any noteworthy challenges or opportunities that I met. I go over the 8 objectives of my creed, one of the principles, and then I prepare for the coming day. But first, let's check the weather. It's a significant change. Look at that sunrise, wow. It is currently just past 5:30 a.m., 20 degrees and 67% humidity. Look at that. 20 and 67%. That's a significant drop. 67% from the 25 degrees and 95% humidity that we've been experiencing for weeks and weeks and weeks. Suddenly it just dropped. On the first day, hey, today is the first day of autumn, formally and officially. That's really interesting. It's been, I mean, let's just read back a little bit. Today's 20 degrees and 67% humidity. Yesterday was 21 and 62. The day before that was 24 and 84. The day before that, now after this, it's all going to be the same. 23 and 60, and with a little bit of changes. Oh, it's interesting to read these. I should graph these out. Let's see if I want to just go 2 more before that, if I can open the page. Before that was 24 and 62, and then 25 and 87. And then after the 25 and 87, it's going to be 25 and 87 to 90 for weeks and weeks and weeks. So you can definitely see how autumn came to a sputtering halt all of a sudden. Isn't that interesting? As the clock chimes. All right, continuing along. A huge thank you and welcome to my new subscribers. And what I meant to say was a welcome to my new subscribers on the channel. There's a good batch of you in the last 24 hours. And thank you to my supporters on Patreon, members on YouTube, and those who watch my videos. And a disclaimer, this video is a video where I will talk about subjects like death. So if that makes you uncomfortable, please know that. But also please know, this is not a video about Japan. This is my private journal that I open to the world. So you're welcome to look over my shoulder as I talk about my life relative to the values outlined in my book, and try to improve the quality of my life and my engagement with the world. You can leave your comments and criticisms as you see fit. I won't read those or respond to them until I get to the end. And with that, let's get started. I keep notes every day, throughout the day, of what's going on. And I just recently got this giant, I should use that. I just recently got this giant, let me show it to you. Hold on. I was at the Japan flea market this weekend, as I do every other weekend with my wife and my sister-in-law, and I bought this. Would you look at that? It's a blackboard, or maybe more appropriately a green board, and it's got a little shelf here on the bottom, and it's made of really nice, good, look at the sturdy construction of this thing. Anyway, I bought it. It comes from an old business here in Japan. They had it up on their wall, and I bought it, and I'm going to hang it in my room. Maybe I can use this because I keep notes throughout the day. Well, there's a giant hornet right there. Jeez, did you see that? I don't know if it came up on the film, but a giant Japanese hornet. And I'm getting them all day, every day. Now they're just flying through the room, everything. That was the nature of my journal entry this morning. Anyway, I bought this at the flea market, and I'm going to hang it on my wall. Maybe this would be a good place for me to record the notes through the day, right? I have some ideas for it. Let me put it in here. Maybe I'll be able to hang this today. Anyway, so so I keep the notes, and maybe I'll start keeping notes on my green board. Anyway, my one note from the last 24 hours was that it was a steady day of progress. And what I simply meant by that, I'm not pleased with that note. It didn't capture the sense of things. I feel like 10 months in, I've come to the other side of retirement, and I've reached the promised land, so to speak. You know, so many people, when I was preparing to retire, they would say, "Get over here, you." Those that had already retired and been in and at it a couple of years, they'd say, "Get in here. The water's fine. It's great. Don't wait a day longer." And now I understand why, right? I mean, it's a pretty good place to be. In fact, it's a really good place to be. And if you're young and you're not retired, you're still working, then maybe take my words and use that as a motivation to make sure you're preparing for your eventual retirement. Because it's a good time of life, and the sooner the better. Anyway, though I'm not someone who just sits on his hands, and I don't like to sit around and just let my days pass by. I need to have good production and utility of the day. And I have lots of good things that I can do. Mainly, the number one good thing I can do is to continue to engage in the refinement and the sharing and exploration of the values which are written about in my book, Going Alone, and in the other books that I've written as well, which I rarely ever talk about, but maybe I should talk about more. And so to that end, Yumiko and I, we got up, I went to the eye doctor. My eye's in great shape. Today's the last day I need to wear facial protection. Tonight I can wash my hair and shave. So that's going to be a really neat thing. So it'll be clean. I can do that tonight. And yesterday we took care of we got a stroller for the dogs. Yumiko and I had spent a couple of weeks researching strollers. We wanted to get something we could push the dogs around in. And I took the lead on the research, and I shared our results of our research on social media, getting feedback from other people. We went and eventually bought the Iliaya Hercules stroller. It's actually a stroller that's meant to be a trailer. You can actually connect it to the back of a bike as well. Big sturdy wheels, lots of room, very well made, good reviews on the internet. And we got it earlier in the week. And then yesterday we needed to have the tires looked at because the tires weren't properly fitted. The tires to the wheels. So I took it to a bike shop here, and he took care of all that for us. And so it's ready to go. And then we took the dogs for a walk. Now I think I'm going to take Rudy for a trial walk this morning in a new series that I'm going to be calling Walking the Dog in Japan. My old original YouTube series was Walking in Japan, where I would wander around Japan. But I'm thinking walking the dog in Japan with my Hercules stroller. So I think I'll do that today. But yesterday was the day of preparation towards that end. And I might make use today. I might even I might go out and have lunch out with my little stroller with the dog. Make use of the largesse of my YouTube supporters. With your contributions, I'll let you guys buy me lunch. Thank you very much for the lunch today. Let's see if it goes that way, and I think it will. All right, that's all there was. There was nothing really challenged me yesterday. It was a pretty straightforward day. Oh, there was one slight challenge, which was the subject of my blog entry this morning, and relevant to the giant hornet that just buzzed my head. I don't know if you saw it. I've had a bit of a challenge. Let me show you. Let me just maybe show you. This is my room, okay? And there's my dog. And pretty much I'm here most of the time through this hot summer. And Rudy and I just kind of sit together in front of that fan and keep cool. And while we sit here, and this towel is because I sweat a little bit, but I can get rid of it now that it's summer. As we sit here and I'm just doing my thing, I keep this door open all day long. And it's very, very pleasant. Cool breeze comes through. I can see the bamboo, hear the wind chime. watch my plants. And then I keep the temperature thermometer thing on that table right there outside, and I can keep an eye on that. Got my little table here, I can put my feet up, and etc., etc. I got my dog. Right, Rudy? Now here's the problem. You just saw that if you saw it, there was a giant hornet that buzzed my head as I stood right out there. They're continually coming from the bamboo forest out there, and they're foraging. And I watch them forage through the bamboo all day long. But they sometimes come up and they explore around the patio here, and they come right into the room. Now, that's kind of scary, because Rudy and I are sitting here, and they're the most dangerous animal in Japan, and they're buzzing around, droning around like this. And I grab Rudy, and we go out, and I close the door here, and I let the Virgin of Guadalupe look over things until the hornet finds its way out. So what I did yesterday, I had a kind of a revelation. A hornet came in, as they do every day. I get like 1 or 2 hornets in the room every day, just like if I stand here long enough. If I stand here for a 30-minute stretch, I'll get one that'll come by, just as you saw, and buzz my head. Anyway, I was in there yesterday in a big, mostly black one. They have varying degrees of orange and black. Mostly black one, like the one that just came. Maybe it was the same one. Came right into the room and went right over and banged onto the window over there. And it was on this window. I had a light flash to my head. You know, because we were watching a TV show, my wife and I, over lunch, and the show had said, when one door closes, a window opens. You know, that old cliche. And I thought, open window. And I walked over, and the hornet was right here, and I carefully opened the screen of the window, went back and sat down. And sure enough, the hornet lifted off of the glass, right out the window. Wow, I figured it out. Well, I didn't figure it out, I remembered. Because about a month ago, we were at a cafe up in the mountains, a komika Japanese traditional style house cafe. And it was a traditional style home with the open, 2 sides of the house were completely open to the outside, allowing the river breeze to come in just like here, but also allowing the creatures to come in as well, big giant spiders and things like that. Anyway, I was sitting there on the floor in the tatami room enjoying our coffee with my wife and my sister-in-law, and Emily was there as well with her friend from America, and there were a couple of other guests. And the mistress of the house was tending to her customers when a giant hornet came in one area and started flying above us. And she didn't notice it, the woman. She was taking care of the customers over there. So I went over and I told her, Suzumebachi. There's telling her, oh, there's a giant hornet. And she just kind of looked over, and she'd been born and raised in that village. She knew that place well. And she just said, Suzumebachi da, which means, the hornets. And she went back into the kitchen to get some cake for her customer. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess we're nonchalant about it. So I thought, and I sat back down, and sure enough, the hornet buzzed over everybody's head for a little bit, and then went right out an open side of the house. It had come in one side of the house and right out the other side of the house. That was the bit of wisdom shared with me by that woman at the old house, that the hornets come in, the hornets go out. Suzumebachi da. The hornets. That by simply keeping that window open over there, this one on this side and that one on that side, 2 sides of the house open to the world. The hornets come in, the hornets go out, and no one's the worse for wear. Bit of wisdom that I gained yesterday, and that's what I blogged about in this morning's Retiring in Japan blog post. Okay, that's all there is for that. My creed now consists of the following 8 objectives: to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of my time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions relative to my values, to remember my limits and opportunities, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, and to maintain my balance. As for the principles, today I'm going to read a principle required, nothing is enough, which was a very late addition to the book. I had written the book and edited it. I thought it was all done. And one day I had this idea, and actually Emily, this whole book is illustrated by my daughter. In here, and I think it might be the head of this chapter, Emily, my daughter, illustrated the book to illustrate that principle. Nothing is enough. It became an important enough principle that here it is right here. This is the beginning of the chapter titled The Good Life, which is the place where I codify my objectives and principles. There's nothing is enough. There's the start of the chapter. Opposite the chapter start is a drawing that my daughter did of a stone in the desert that has inscribed in it, nothing is enough. Almost as if one walking through the desert would find this stone with a bit of nature wisdom inscribed upon it. So the principle was a late addition to the book, something that I added near the end or after I was done, to capture a sense that had built upon me in the years following the book's completion. There goes in. Here's another hornet. It's right here. It's right above my head. Above. It was just there by my bell. That's two. See, it's there's a lot this time of the year. It's September. This is the dangerous time of the year when the hornets are getting up. They're dangerous because they're going to be dying soon. Okay, let's read "Nothing is Enough," and it includes a subtext here that says, "Nothing is enough. Not relying on things for our well-being." And then there's a quote here from Dr. Johnson. Frugality is not only the basis of quiet, but of beneficence. I could just hear Dr. Johnson say that. Okay, let's read. Nothing is enough. We start out life in pursuit of whatever might satisfy our aching desire to become sated at the banquet of life. Education, career, friendship, family, and belief are each in turn stuffed into the yawning crevasse, opening onto an indifferent universe hard at work exchanging order for night, a cosmos incapable of sympathy to our plight, without pity for our pain, with no awareness or interest regarding our dreams. We try and we try, doing everything we think we should, to no avail and no relief. Nothing ever enough. Nothing ever being quite enough. Until one day we realize that we are saved when we discover that nothing is enough. Just our constant efforts to insert into the maw of the open universe of indifference our activity, the results, the consequence, the discoveries, the successes of our activities, even the failures, if we can, if they'll stuff anything to keep back the dark awareness. Dark because it scares us, dark because it suggests death, dark because it suggests there is no immortality. No immortality. We stuff with all these things until one day we realize that the stuffing is in vain. The emptiness remains. The immortality is yet a dream that we will never realize. And we decide, hey, maybe I'm all right with nothing being enough. It's kind of a Zen-like achievement, the state of mind, one that I only flicker into once in a while. It's elusive, but remains a goal. It's fitting that it's right near the end. I think it's principle number 34. It is maybe of 35. We're close to the end. Okay, now for the next 24 hours, well, today I'm going to try to do an edition of walking the dog in Japan. After we do our dog walk, after we have breakfast, I'm going to pack up Rudy in our little stroller and go out and enjoy maybe a day walking around the community under this lovely atmosphere of weather and through the morning. Whether or not I'll carry on through lunch remain to be seen. I'm at liberty to do as I see fit, right? Okay, one more quick check of the weather before we read comments. Now it's up to 26 degrees and 64%. So 26 degrees, not 26 degrees, 21 degrees. Sorry, I had written that wrong. It's now 21 degrees and 66% humidity. Let's read comments. Hello, Crystal. Good to see you. It's been a bit. It's chilly morning today. My brother made the first fire of the season. No kidding. That's really neat. I like that. I was thinking about making a little fire pit in the backyard here. Wouldn't that be fun? Or would you have it in the fireplace? It's good to see you, Crystal. Tim says, good morning. Weather check here in the UK at 9:35 p.m. is 7.6 C and 78%. Ooh, chilly. Humidity temp dropped to 2 C first thing this morning, but a beautiful cloudless day. 2, wow, it got really cold. Really cold. Wow, that's 2 degrees C is really cold. Wow. My wife, the reason I know that is that my wife, she describes that as nido. Ni is the Japanese word for 2. Do is like degrees, so it's 2 degrees. My wife famously likes to describe anything that's cold as nido. It doesn't matter if it's 5 degrees or 6 degrees or negative 5 degrees, it's nido to her. So that you've got nido in September. Is it still the 22nd for you, Tim? I think it is. So you're on the very last day of summer, huh? And this is the very first day of autumn here. Thank you for sharing. It's a beautiful cloudless day. Maybe a good one for a walk, right, Tim? Or you're at the end of the day, so hopefully you had a good walk. Tim says, a blackbeard, cool. I still like the traditional ways. A blackboard, that is. A blackboard, cool. I still like the traditional ways. Sometimes I used to have Post-it notes stuck to my work computer screen. Me too. Yeah, I'm going to find a good place for this board and get it up on my wall here. Crystal says, I have a cork board in my office. Use it mainly for photos of positive things. I like that. Hello, Erica is growing. Hi, Kurt. Hi, all. Hello, Evelyn. Good to see you as well. Crystal adds, walking the dog in Japan sounds nice. Casual, but is welcoming to more serious talks when desired. Exactly. That's precisely what I had in mind, Crystal. I wanted to have the stroller, and one of the reasons that I led the initiative to get such a good one was I wanted to have something that I could go on, because even though I live here in the countryside, that is the countryside behind me, behind those houses. It's literally just wilderness back there, and then of course the wilderness right behind my house. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's just wave after. It's like the edge of the sea. On that side over there is this edge of the city. I mean, I can literally walk to downtown. It's a long walk, but I could do it from here. Now that I have this stroller and lots of free time and the weather's starting to cool, why not load little Rudy up into the stroller, make it nice and comfy in there, outfit the stroller. It's already got a drink holder, maybe put some equipage on there, and go out. And Japan is just full of interesting little sideways and byways, and wander around with my camera, my charger, my book, whatever it is I want to do. Stop at parks, stop at convenience stores, go to the sea, wherever I want, and then make my little retiring in Japan dispatches throughout the day, out and about. You've nailed it, Crystal. That's exactly what I have in mind. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because so many of you seem to have good cognizance of the frame of mind, that we seem to share a similar frame of mind and an outlook, huh? Tim says, I happened upon a video today on Instagram. Made me think of you of a fight between a giant Asian hornet and a praying mantis. Apparently a mantis will always win in a fight. Surprised me, Tim. Well, Tim, you are very right in thinking about me in doing that. I actually have a very similar video on my channel. If you're interested and you search, it's a very old video, but if you search for, and I've never been the type to do like verses, but if I happen upon animals engaged in a fight, I have recorded that on my channel, and I think I've only captured it once or twice. One of them was exactly that, a praying mantis fighting a giant hornet, and it happened right at the top of that hill. I was hiking up there, and I recorded it. You can find it on my channel, and you might be surprised to see who won. It's rather explicit and rather startling. But if you're interested, check it out. Or if you just search for, let me know if you look for it and you can't find it. Let me know and I'll send it to you, because it might be on one of my other channels. I have like 20 different channels, but I'll give you the what do they call it? What do you call it when you give away the story, the ending? I can't remember what that's called. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! the hornet winds in this case, and carts off the head of the mantis into the air. It's quite dramatic at the end. PF, hello PF, good to see you again. Hello Softy P, you're looking good and great to see you. Well, thank you very much. I'm 1 week without a shave and 1 week without washing my hair since my surgery, but tonight that all changes. Tonight I get to take a full shower and wash my hair, and I'll shave and I'll be looking better, but I appreciate the well wishes, and maybe the stubbly beard suits me. And I'm glad you liked seeing Rudy. There's Robert saying hi to everybody and reporting 72 degrees Fahrenheit and 70, hey, switch to Fahrenheit, Robert, and 78% humidity in an AQI of 33 in Napanee, Ontario. It's kind of warm, huh? Or at least the humidity is a little high for you. Erica says hi to Robert. Tim says hi to Robert. Tim says, we don't get many hornets here, mainly standard wasps, but we do get maybugs about the same size as a cicada with wings and a very loud, low buzzing. Scary if they get in the house, but harmless. I've never heard of maybugs. I'll have to look that up. Let me write that down. I want to see what it is. Maybug. Now, if it uses the word bug in the name, I studied entomology in college. Bugs are true bugs, and the order Hemiptera. I wonder if maybugs are indeed hemipterans, or if maybe they are Coleoptera, which are the order that beetles are. And there goes another hornet. Hornet, by the way, or order, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what the order for bees and wasps are. Oh well, doesn't matter. Robert says, sorry, I'm a bit behind. Did you end up getting that part-time job? Do you still desire one? I didn't get the part-time job, and I no longer desire one, although I play with the idea once in a while. It's good to see you. Oh, this is Robert, not, this is Robert, not Robert Penguin. Oh, different Robert. So yes, Robert, no, I didn't get it. It turns out I put out several applications. Nobody ever responded. I did do one interview with an AI, and I ended up closing my business. And basically, what happened was I got over it. You know, I realized that I was seeking after employment to assuage my sense of, and Tim will relate to this, to assuage a little bit of a sense of guilt in no longer working, and my sense of being a little bit lost, no longer working, not knowing what to do with myself. And so I was turning to what I knew, which was work. And I think I've gotten over that. So I'm on the other side now. But if anything, I might decide I might get a job if one comes up, if it will help me with my Japanese. Like if I can get a job working a part-time job in a Japanese setting, like maybe working, I don't know, as a fisherman or something like that. Maybe I might do that. Tim, but I'm going to give myself, I'm not going to push myself into it. Tim says, the cooler weather here now is so much more comfortable for long walks. Feel alive again now. Miko, you and me and Miko, the three of us, Tim, Miko and I are lately. I didn't realize that how we've been doing we do 3 big walks a day. We've been like zombies in the heat. And now with the temperature cooler, we're just walking. We feel so much better. Erica says, wishing everyone a good morning, a day, or evening. Ah, so comprehensive. Thank you, Erica. Hello, Claude. Happy autumn to you all. Happy autumn to you. First day of autumn. Tim says, yes, rural areas. First proper frost of the coming autumn. Some areas fell to 0. Slightly cooler than normal, but I love the cold, frosty mornings for a walk. Hello, Michael. Robert, believe in yourself, that is, says hello to Michael. Robert says hi to Claude. Jim Birds, there you are. Hi, Kurt, 6 degrees and 87% RH here on the west coast of the Isle of Mull in Scotland. Wow. 6 degrees. So yeah, now Tim is also he's over there, over by, I don't remember where it is, but it's over by Litchfield somewhere. I don't remember the name of your town, but maybe I shouldn't be saying the town. Although I don't think Tim minds. But he's a fellow inhabitant of your neck of the world, Jim Jam Birds, and he was reporting 2 degrees, Nido, and that some of the areas in his area are all the way down to 0 already. 87% humidity though, wow. And by the way, I do have your package, Jim Jam Birds. I haven't started on the book, the signing and the illustration, but I do plan to do that this week. And it's good to see you. Robert says hello to Jim Jam Birds. Jim Jam Birds says hello to Robert. And Tim says, thanks, Kurt. We'll have to look for it and check it out. The mantis literally gripped onto the hornet and ate it. It was a large mantis. Wow. It was a large mantis here as well. I guess it all kind of depends on who gets the best grip first. In the video that, if you watch my video, you'll see that the hornet the mantis failed to get a good grip. The hornet got its mandibles around the mantis's neck, and that was all she wrote. And Tim says, search for cockchafer, Melanothra melolotha. That sounds like the Latin for the name of that insect. And you will see pics of what they look like. Oh, okay. We call them maybugs here in the UK. Very good. I will do that. I won't look for I'm sure that I won't. Cockchafer. That sounds funny to say that. I wrote that down. I will look for that immediately after this video, so that I won't forget. So Crystal says, how long do you spend walking each day? I assume you're asking me that question, although you have several walkers here watching and with us right now, Crystal. Maybe others will chime in as well. I measure it more by steps. In the winter months, Yumiko and I were averaging 15,000 to 20,000 steps a day. Right now, we're averaging just about 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to let the clock do its thing. Never mind the chimes. One of the characteristics I love about my clock is that it doesn't keep accurate time, nor do the chimes make any sense. When the top of the hour strikes, it could strike 6, 3, 1, 12. I think I even heard it chime 13 times once. So it doesn't matter, but I love it. It's my retirement clock because it doesn't keep accurate time, nor do the chimes mean anything. It's perfect. As for a total number of hours, Eric Crystal, I would say if you summed them all up, I'd say 2.5, maybe between 2 and 3 hours a day of walking when the weather permits, right? A lot less when the summer is really fired up. Jim Jumbird says, Chile, sounds good. Thanks for the update. We'll send over some photos of where we are. Nice. Claude says, don't count the steps, count the kilometers. Oh, really? Okay, well, my app counts. I mean, I guess I can measure it in kilometers as well. The app on my phone does a really good job of, showing me charting everything, and it's just a health app on the iPhone. I really like it. All right, well, I've reached the bottom of the comments, and I'm going to check that out. The Maybug is the cock chaser. No, I wrote it down. I'll check that out. I'll see what that is. And you can tell real easily if it's a true bug or not. If on the back of the bug it has a little triangle, if it's got the triangle, it's a real bug and has the sucking mouth parts. Same as the cicadas. Cicadas are true bugs as well. Tim says, I normally do 2.5 hours of walk each morning, around 15,000 steps, although they say 7,000 steps is good. So you do one big walk in the morning, huh, Tim? I do 3 medium-sized walks, small to medium-sized walks throughout the day. Although now, starting my Walking in the Dog in Japan series, I might be doing a whole lot more, especially now that since I've come back to Japan, my arthritis is gone. I don't know how that happens, but arthritis was almost a debilitating issue when I was living in the States. And I mean, I almost couldn't walk. I couldn't go upstairs. It was really bad. But since I've come back to Japan, no stress, lots of walking, great diet, my arthritis is gone. Now, I don't know if that's how that works, but there you go. And it's funny because my brother, he's retiring in 3 months. He messaged me the other day and he said, Kurt, tell me about your arthritis because he's racked with it. And I said, Lyle, get out there and walk. And get done with work as soon as you can, and maybe that'll help your retirement because he and I have 50% the same genes, right? Tim says, yes, usually large walk, and then an incidental later day walking. Incidental latter day walking. Okay. I read latter day walking like a Latter Day Saint, like Interesting. The brain fills in the gaps. Crystal says, wow, that's a lot of walking, something I aspire towards. It really makes a lot of difference. It's a big quality of life from Yumiko and I. Robert says, that's the video of the hornet and mantis. Dang, you weren't joking. That is graphic. Oh, did you see the one? Are you referring to my video of the hornet and the mantis? It is very graphic, especially the way the hornet flies away with the decapitated head of the mantis at the end, right? And it'll come back and it'll chomp up the rest of it and take the rest of it home to the grubs as well. But just if you're curious, folks, if you don't know, the hornets themselves don't eat meat. They are nectar eaters. That's why right now I'm seeing so many of them, because here if you can look in my backyard, you can see the flowers. Do you see the little purple flowers right there in amongst the bamboo? I can see the hornets. There's a bunch of them right there. The hornets are flying amongst the flowers, and the individual hornets are actually drinking the nectar from the flowers. But they need meat to feed the grubs back in the nest, because they actually eat meat. So when you see a hornet killing a big insect, they're not killing it to consume it themselves. They're killing it to dispatch it and carry the carrion back, so to speak, to the nest. So when that hornet in my video flies off with the head, it's taking it back to feed it to the grubs. It's quite a scene. Tim says, I suffered from chronic scatia. I don't know what that is. A few years back for 18 months. I'm going to have to look that up as well. You're giving me lots of homework, Tim. Good homework. And I really enjoy it. And speaking of which, I'm going to look it up. And I'm sorry that you suffered from that, Tim. And you suffered past tense. So it sounds like you were able to overcome that. You add another plus of not being stuck behind the office desk anymore. I can be more mobile now in retirement. Yeah, that is great. Oh, yeah, I wanted to give you a tip. I'm going to look two things up when I'm done. That Tim mentioned, Maybug and Scathia. I need to look both of those up. If you use AI for your research, for helping you look things up, Grok just released, the AI associated with the X platform. Grok just released their new Grok Fast, which is an amazing one, and it's really, really nimble. It's really, really clever. It's not as good about listening. So, if you have conversations with ChatGPT, it's pretty good about hearing if you interrupt it. You want to ask it something, mid conversation. Grok isn't as good as that, but boy, is it fast, and boy, is it conversational. Check it out if you want. Okay, I think I've reached the end. Oh wait, no, there's Crystal saying that she has arthritis too. Maybe it's the food. I'm sorry to hear you have arthritis, Crystal. I know firsthand how painful that is. I don't know what it is, and I've had lots of talks with the AI about it. AI seems to think that it's the walking that did the trick, but I can tell you that the things that changed for me, that led, and it took a long time, like 6 months for the change to occur, was less stress, less sedentary activity, not sitting at a desk working, lots more walking. I also practically cut out drinking. I mean, I never was a heavy drinker, but I was drinking like one beer maybe every other night before. I've practically stopped drinking altogether, just on very rare occasions. And then also now I've changed climate too. I went from being in a very dry Southern California environment to this humid and warm and in Japanese environment. Maybe all these things together, but I mean, I can just feel a little bit. If I do something like that, I can feel just very deep in there, but it's so deep away it doesn't bother me anymore. Tim says, sciatica, maybe I don't know how to pronounce it, is where the sciatic nerve in the lower back gets trapped, which runs down the legs and can be incredibly painful and make the feet numb. It's not pleasant. That sounds terrible, Tim. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Is it better now? I hope it's better now. How did you make it better now? How can something like that get improved, I wonder? Wow. Okay, well, I would like to hear if Tim's doing better. So, Tim, let me know if you're doing better now so I can add that to my context understanding of you and your well, because I'm interested in all of you. It's funny because we don't actually talk, but I would love to talk. If any of you ever come to Japan and come through the area, that doesn't count. That's not just the people that I see here regularly, but if you see this incidentally and you happen to come through Japan, well, the bullet train stop here in Shizuoka is right on the main line between Tokyo and Kyoto, or vice versa. Just give me a heads up and come by. Like, I've got someone that's going to come by next week, and I've got someone I'm going to meet with this week. Just drop by and I'll come down there. I'll get on the local train and come down and meet you firsthand. But anyway, I get to know all of you by filling in the context and the information. Like, I know Evelyn's in Italy doing her thing. We know Robert's up in Canada doing his thing. You know, Tim's in. I can picture Tim walking through England, etc., and all of you doing all of your various things. Tim says, better, a lot better. Plenty of exercise and physio and walking. Excellent. Walking seems to be the best thing, huh? Claude chimes in as well for disc pain. Ellen says, we are all coming together one day. Wouldn't that be great? Have a big get together. I would love that. And I'd be happy to travel too if it's not here. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Evelyn, we didn't get to hear much from you today. I hope that you are enjoying Italy and have some great food on our behalf. Take care, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe.